Hi guys, it's Tony Paladin. Today we are going to talk about the secret sauce in finding rate. I'm going to hope that you watched my video on checkpoints and just defining the importance of checkpoints in order to get an effective rhythmical flow of your rowing stroke. Assuming that your checkpoints are good, big assumption, but I'm hoping they're there. And you've spent a lot of time dreaming about checkpoints because they are super important. I often see young athletes in their training, they'll get really, really good times at rates of 22, 24, 26. And as we start to climb up to 30, 32, 34, there ends up being a breakdown in rhythm. The guys can't find the rate. So all the projected times that we define in the lower rates don't carry up into trial. Which is obviously very frustrating for young athletes because they've done all this work. Physically, they've got the output. They're in really good shape. But because of the inability to shift in rate and get up to the 32, 34, 36 rhythm, the guys don't get the times that they want. So my secret sauce, it works pretty well. It's not for everyone, but if you're struggling with rate, maybe give this a try and see if it works out for you. So just to recap on our checkpoints again, we've got our checkpoint 1 position, our 2, our 3A, and our 4. Okay. A lot of coaches tend to coach length. Okay, length is super important. Length is very important. The more length you've got during the drive, the more power you can in theory create. However, there's a downside. If you try to create length in the wrong places, you're going to end up going slower. So, where do we want to try and create length? Well, ideally, if you reach your ideal checkpoints, you should have optimal length. Obviously, on an erg, you can't really change much in terms of getting your length. In the boat, obviously, you've got your set length, but through gearing, you'll be able to get a better arc of the oar. So, in order to optimize length, there are a few things you can't change. Number one, checkpoint 1 is checkpoint 1. It is what it is. You can't make any longer checkpoint 1 because your legs are only so long. Now, we could get longer on the back, and we could do it a couple of ways. Generally, what I find the most frequent way of doing it is sitting back at like 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock. The problem here is that where your handle is sitting can't effectively go down, round, and away. So if you were to try to go down, round, and away, you'd go straight into your body, which is not going to be very effective. Secondly to that is that if your handle is coming in and going around a turn to go out, you will retain a momentum curve. If you are having to go in and then out, or go in and out, or some of my favorites is hit the chest as hard as you can and put as much whip as you can to the chain, completely disrupting your rowing stroke and hurting your machine. Because you haven't retained momentum, you have to recreate momentum. So now all of a sudden it has to go in, stop, change direction and go. Very simply basic, if I look at a very basic analogy, if you're running and you want to change direction, to go around a beacon and come back is often a lot faster than to go, stop dead, use a lot of eccentric load to turn your weight around to sprint in the opposite direction. So you'll find in terms of creating a stroke that keeps on moving in a continual circular pattern, you never really have to break your momentum. If you start going back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, you're going to find that you have to work a lot harder to change momentum. So going back to the relevance on our checkpoint 1 position, is if you do not find your checkpoint 1 by trying to reach too far, you are going to destroy your rhythm by having to come in, bash, and go out. So theoretically, it's better to go and keep a circular motion in order to maintain the rate. The other place that you can find length is obviously on the catch. Now, let's assume that the body position in checkpoint 3A, where your body is in approximately 11 o'clock position, your arms are straight, you've come up to the catch. You, in theory, should have your shins being at about perpendicular degrees. I don't have the most flexible Achilles tendons, so my knees are higher than they probably should be. But if I were to go over and push past perpendicular and allow my knees to go over my toes, there's going to be a lot of heavy momentum change at the catch, which is not ideal, and it's widely accepted that most coaches would rather you stay perpendicular. If your body is framed up, your arms are straight, you should be getting as close as you possibly can to the cage. So practically speaking, as you're on the turn, I can basically touch the cage, but still keeping my shins relatively perpendicular. Now, let's talk about the secret sauce. If I want to move around the turn nice and effectively, okay, I often plant the seed in the young athlete to say, right, when you're at rate and when you're getting or approaching your checkpoint 1 position, if you can visualize sitting up tall as if somebody has got the crown of the hair on the crown of your head and I was pulling you up nice and tall into a relatively upright 1 o'clock position, and you think about taking your handle out a fist width away from the body. Now, okay, we might in theory or visually be rowing a bit short, but practically when you do this at rate, you're actually not going to be coming out of fist width, you're going to be coming out just right. So for the purposes of coaching, we're telling our athletes, or we're visualizing that we stop there. If you watch me row and I'm thinking about taking it out of fist width, you'll notice that the handle is probably getting a lot closer to my body than a fist, but I'm able to turn it round. Now, if you look at me now trying to find my trial rate, you'll see that I can continue speaking to you, coaching this video, and be sitting at a 36, 37 stroke a minute, 39, just by turning my hands around the turn and finding my checkpoint 1 position and taking my hands out at a slight fist width position away from my body. So now you'll see I've got race efficiency. I can now start stepping up all the training I've done by retaining my momentum and getting up on a nice comfy rhythm where I can now stride it down to a comfortable 34 and sit you all day. Pull a 610. Anyway, we're not going to sit here all day and put a 610. Maybe next time. Anyway, guys, thanks some more for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.